Alrighty, let's get going. We might have some people trickling in as we start, but that's not a problem. So welcome to our Grow with GoGo series. Today is functional fitness. Before we get moving, just a quick reminder of what else GoGo offers. So in addition to these classes, you can access rides, meals, groceries, medication delivery, and home services. And you can access all of this by calling one number. And that phone number is 855-464-6872. Also a reminder that we have a referral program. So at the bottom of your GoGo receipts, there is a referral code. And if you share that code with a friend, once they've taken their first service with GoGo, you will both receive $10 in credit. Also, we have a Facebook group. So if you ever want to continue any of our conversations online, you can find us on Facebook or connect with other GoGo members there. I'm seeing here in the chat, Ross is saying hi, telling us what his photo is. And then we've got Kathy here from Michigan. Awesome. And then in the chat, we also have just put the link for Facebook in case you want to find us there. And you can always look at that later after class. So if we haven't met, I'm Adra. I teach the yoga and the functional fitness classes here at GoGo. Let's see, what do we need today? So all you need is something to sit on. This class is mostly standing though. So we do have a chair. We will use the chair. It can be any kind of chair, just something that you can sit on and hold on to for balance. But the functional fitness class is, I would say, 90% standing. If you need a more seated class, that would be our yoga class. Our yoga class is primarily seated. So just do know that. We use a set of weights for this class. If you do not have weights, that's okay. You can just move through the motions without weights. It'll still be challenging. I have a light set of 3-pound weights. You could go from anywhere from 1 to 3 pounds. Cans are great. Oh, I did say I would grab cans this time, but we're already here, so I'll try to remember. I'll write myself a note to use cans next time, just so you can see that that's something you can do. So you could grab cans, you could grab water bottles. It really doesn't matter. Something to hold on to if you'd like, or nothing at all. That's it. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So now I will probably be your big video, but sometimes you have to adjust your settings. So if for some reason you don't see me nice and big, then you can go to the top right-hand corner of your Zoom screen. So you'll have to move your cursor up to the top right-hand corner, and you'll find a little box that shows up that says view. You can change it to speaker view. So if you change it to speaker view, you'll mostly see me. If you have it in gallery view, you'll see everybody else. So just know that you can adjust your settings. And we don't, sometimes if you override the settings, then we can't control your settings. Let's see. Take care of your body. If anything doesn't feel good, please skip it. Enjoy yourself. Make this feel nice on your body. Yeah, listen to your body. That's about it. Let's find a nice standing position. So coming up to stand, placing your feet anywhere from maybe 4 to 6 inches apart. Toes are pointing forward. Finding a little motion here. So as you inhale, you'll bend your knees and let your shoulders creep up towards the ears. And then exhale, straighten out the legs and let the shoulders drop. Inhale, bending the knees, shoulders lift up. Exhale, straightening the legs, shoulders drop down. Keep going at your own pace. So don't worry about my speed or anybody else's speed. Follow your breath and your body. Almost feeling like your shoulders have helium balloons attached to them as you inhale, and they're just floating those shoulders up. And then the balloons gently release the shoulders down as they release their helium. So inhale, shoulders lift like they're being floated up, and then release. Keep going. And then let those shoulders drop, standing tall, and take a moment to pause. So maybe closing the eyes or just letting your gaze soften and taking a moment to check in, noticing where you're starting from. Noticing maybe what parts of the feet press into the earth. Noticing your breath. Noticing how you feel today. Maybe noticing any aches or pains and just knowing that you can adjust the practice by skipping things or modifying around those aches and pains. Go ahead and open your eyes if your eyes are closed. We'll do a gentle neck stretch here to begin. So we'll bring that right ear towards the right shoulder. And then other side, other ear to shoulder. And then back to center. Let's rotate the head, look to one side, so just looking past the shoulder. And then turning the head, looking the other way, just to whatever extent and degree you can. And then back to center, looking up towards the ceiling. And then looking down to the ground. All right, and back to center. Let's inhale, open up the arms and lift the chest. So it's a little bit of a back bend. I'm just showing a side view. You don't need to move to this side. And then exhale, round your back. Bring the backs of the hands to touch and curl your spine. So you're tucking your tail, dropping your chin. Inhale, arms open, chest opens, tail back. And exhale, rounding. Keep going. Follow your breath. And coming back to center, releasing those arms. And let's go ahead and bend to one side. See how far your arm goes, just noticing what is your limit. Come back to center and then side bend to the other side. And again, noticing how far do you go? Is it the same or different? We'll do that one more time each side. So side bend to one side. Noticing if there's any twisting or forward bending as you do the side bend, and then side bend to the other side. You can continue like this or start to add an arm reaching up and overhead as you do your side bend. So as you side bend to the right, the left arm would reach up, and as you side bend to the left, the right arm would reach up. Only adding that if it feels good. If you want to add your breath, inhale into the side bend. Exhale as you come up. And make your way back to center. Let's bring our fingertips to the shoulders and bend the knees a little bit. So the small bend in the knees, we're going to try and keep our pelvis and our legs still. So trying not to move that lower half of the body. So pelvis through the legs. And we're going to try and twist just the upper body. Yep, so we can go cactus, fingers on the shoulders. I think I said fingers on the shoulders, but then I went into cactus. So whatever feels good. There's really no right or wrong in class. Just listening to your body, making it feel good, challenging yourself, just the right amount. All right, and come back to center and release those arms. We're going to start off with a little bit of balancing today. So I recommend that you get behind your chair if possible. I'm going to turn sideways just so you can see better, but you don't need to do that. If you can't access a chair, you can't get behind your chair, find a wall, find a table, something that you can hold on to. We're going to do lots of balancing today, and we're going to test it several times. So we'll have lots of chances to do these again. So if it's hard the first time, hopefully it will get easier as we go. So first step, you're holding on to your support and take your feet together. So take your feet together to touch. And then you can keep holding on to the chair, or maybe you float your hands above the chair or hold on with 1 or 2 fingers. And then your next challenge would be to close the eyes. If that feels unstable, just open your eyes again or hold on to the chair. So you have lots of options here. We're all at different levels in terms of our balance. So I'm going to, throughout these balance exercises, give you lots of options. So just know that if you need to, adjust. Do less, do more. So if your eyes are closed, go ahead and open them. We'll all bring our hands back to the chair. And now we're moving to something called half tandem stance. So with your feet together, we're just going to step that right foot maybe 4 to 5 inches forward. So now what's happening is our feet aren't totally next to each other, but they're not completely separated. So they're half next to each other, half one is forward. It's like you've taken a really small step. I'll show you from the front view as well. So you can sort of see one leg is in front of the other, but the toes of my back foot are in line with the heel of my front foot. And so I'm doing my right leg first. You can play around with it. So same thing, hold on to your chair and find your balance here. This is already a little bit harder than what we have with the feet together. If you'd like, maybe you hold on with just 1 or 2 fingers, or you hover those hands. Hands back to the chair. We're going to continue with this leg in front. We're going to create the next step challenge where now we do a full tandem. So that actually means one foot is directly in front of the other. So that front leg that's already halfway in front, it's going to step directly forward and then slightly to the side so that they're actually one in front of the other. So you're standing on a tightrope or a balance beam. So here's where it gets really challenging for many of us. So hold on to that chair first. Find that position. Can you have one foot in front of the other? If you can't, go back to that previous variation where it's half tandem. So you can always go a step back or 2 steps back, no problem. Continuing to hold on to that chair, or maybe you hold on with just 1 or 2 fingers, or maybe you hover your hands above the chair, ready to grab on as needed. Hands back to the chair. And we'll step that right foot back and we'll go to the other side. So left foot goes into that half tandem stance. So left foot steps forward part way. So your feet are still next to each other, but they're close to each other. And one foot is slightly ahead of the other. I'll try and show it kind of a diagonal version. Yeah. So we're just part way, holding on. Maybe you hold on with just 1 or 2 fingers, maybe with the whole hand, maybe you hover. It helps to get your gaze to stare at something that is not moving. So looking at something that is not moving, steadying your gaze there can help. Hands back to your chair. Now full tandem if that feels comfortable. If the half tandem was already challenging enough, stay there. Or step that left foot directly in front of the right so that you're standing on a tightrope. All 10 toes are facing forward. You're holding onto your chair with both hands, 1 hand, or maybe a few fingers, 1 finger, or you're hovering. Finding that challenge that's a little bit hard, but not too hard. And you want to be able to challenge yourself, but feel safe at the same time. Right, and then hands back to the chair, and let's step those feet together. While we're here with our hands on the chair, or on your wall or table, We'll do a little stretch. So holding on, you'll walk your feet back and create sort of an upside down L position. So your torso comes parallel-ish to the ground and your legs are vertical or perpendicular to the ground. Your knees can be bent, your torso can be lifted higher. So feel free to adjust. You don't have to go all the way down. We'll hold for a few breaths. So getting a stretch here, maybe in the arms and in the backs of the legs, or maybe just one of them. And lift that torso up, walk yourself forward. We're going to stay here for a little bit longer with the hands on your support, moving into some heel raises. So we'll lift up onto our tippy toes, heels come high, and then heels come back down. So up and down. So you're holding on for support. We're finding motion here in the ankles. You decide how high you go. If you want more challenge for your balance as you're on with just one or two fingers. All right, heels come down, take a little break. Hands stay on the chair. We'll step that right foot back about 1 to 3 feet behind you. It just depends on the length of the legs. All 10 toes face forward, and then we bend just that front knee. So we're looking for a calf stretch in that back leg. So the front knee is bent, the back leg is straight. Your feet are anywhere from 1 to 3 feet apart, and keep holding on to your chair for support or your table or wall. We're pressing that back heel into the ground. And then stepping forward and we switch sides. So left foot steps back or whichever leg was in front steps back. The front knee bends, the back leg straightens, and that back heel presses into the earth. All right, and then stepping forward. Let's grab our weights. If you don't have weights, it's okay. You don't need them. We're going to bring the weights in front of the chest if you have them, holding onto them there. Just to add a little bit more weight to some of this leg work that we're doing. Again, don't have weights, don't worry about it. Take your feet wide. So we're going wider than the shoulders. Toes are pointing slightly out, heels in. So we have this turned out position. And then we're going into some sumo squats. So you bend those knees. That's why we have a wide stance. Sumo squats are wide. We bend those knees, hips can go back and then up. So it's not a plie in that you're not staying vertical with your torso. You can let your hips go back and your torso come forward. I'll just show you a side view as well. So it's just a very wide-legged squat. We'll keep going here. Up to you how low you go. This can be small, this can be big. This can be fast, this can be slow. Listen to your body, what feels good. All right, and then coming up, releasing those arms, taking those feet back together. Going into some overhead presses. So again, with weights or without, we'll bend those elbows. Let's go narrow today. So we'll bend those elbows, palms face each other. And we'll push those arms up towards the ceiling and then bend again. Pushing up towards the ceiling and bending. As best you can, you're trying not to change the shape of your spine to push overhead. So it might mean that your arms go slightly forward instead of straight up towards the ceiling. This is challenging even without weights. So if you don't have weights, this is a time to especially think about, can I reach those arms up without changing the shape of my spine? Is that possible? Or is this happening? Are the hips pushing forward? Are you back bending in some way? Moving those ribs forward. Try to keep that torso still and make this really just a shoulder and arm exercise. All right, let's bring those weights down, put them down. I'm gonna check back in with our balance. So coming back to your support in front of you. So for me, that's my chair. And you pick, you're gonna do one of them. So you either do the feet together that we did at the beginning, the half tandem, we'll do the right side first. So half tandem, right foot in the front, or full tandem, right foot directly in front of the other. So we've done this before. You're just repeating one of them, whichever one felt like the right challenge for you. And we're gonna just see how it feels. So we have our right foot, either our feet together, half tandem with the right foot slightly forward, or full tandem with that right foot directly in front of the left. Holding on to your chair if you'd like, a little bit or a lot or not at all. Is your balance the same or different from the first time? We're just seeing, has it improved? Has it gotten worse? How does it feel? Hands back to your support if you've released it, and we'll go to the other side. Either those feet stay together, and maybe you close those eyes, half tandem with the left foot partially forward, or full tandem with that left foot directly in front. So it's the same thing that we just did earlier, but just the other foot in front. Feeling free to hold on as much or as little as you'd like, finding that just right challenge. Hard, but still safe. And again, you're noting for yourself, does it feel same or different as it did earlier when we did this check of our balance the first time? Bringing those hands back to your support, taking those feet back next to each other. Let your feet be anywhere from 2 to 6 inches apart. We're going back to our heel raises. So we've done these before, we're doing them again. We lift up onto our tippy toes, heels come high, and then back down. Maybe you add some breath here. Inhale as you rise. Exhale as you lower. All right, let's let that go, shake it off. And we'll grab our weights. Going back to those sumo squats. Again, you don't need the weights. Hands come in front of the chest, feet go wide. So we're going wider than the shoulders, toes point slightly out, heels in. We bend those knees, hips can go back, chest can come forward, and straighten. Try and line up those knees with your toes, so don't let those knees knock in. So sometimes what happens is sort of this, what I'm showing you. We don't want that. If that's happening, you have to press those knees out. Maybe you need to make your stance more narrow or change the angle of those feet. So feel free to adjust. We really want those knees lining up with those feet as best you can. Going as slow or as fast as you want. All right, coming up. Bring those legs back towards each other, shake it off. Take a few deep breaths. And we're going back to those overhead presses. We're going that narrow overhead press. So the hands start close to the shoulders. Palms are facing in. We push those arms up towards the ceiling and back down. If you have access to a wall, that's a nice time to see if your spine moves when you do this. So you can put yourself against the wall, feel the parts of the body that touch the wall, and then straighten and bend those arms. And notice if those parts that were touching initially with the arms down are still touching when the arms go up. All right, hands come down. Whew. Let's put those weights to the side. Let's do a few shoulder rolls back. And shoulder rolls forward. Okay. Then coming back to our support, we're going to test our balance again. So it's up to you. You have those same three options with all of the variations of where your hands are. So feet together, maybe those eyes are closed. Right foot halfway forward, so the half tandem, or the full tandem, right foot directly in front of the left. Holding on as much or as little as you'd like. Easier or harder? So sometimes as we start to feel our body more, it gets easier because we have a better sense of where our body is in space, but also we've been working hard, and so fatigue can make it harder. So just noticing, is it easier or harder now? And then we'll switch sides. So either your feet are still together, or left foot is halfway forward, or left foot is directly forward, standing on a tightrope. Holding on or not, finding that challenge and notice. Hands back to your support, feet together. Last set of heel raises. Just for fun, maybe we change our position. So we've been doing parallel. Let's let those heels come towards each other and the toes out. So it's like you're making a pie slice or a pizza slice with your feet. So the toes are out and the heels are in. So just a different position. I like to do this trying to keep the heels to stay together the whole time, but you decide what feels good. Lifting up onto your tippy toes and then back down. So up and down. Okay. Finishing that up, release, shake it off, and grab those weights if you have them, or if you want them. Last set of sumo squats. So that's those wide squats. Feet go wider than the shoulders if possible. Toes are pointing out, heels are in. Knees track along the toes. Bend and straighten. You decide how deep you go. You decide how fast you go. All right. Letting that go, bring those legs back together, shake it off. Last set of those narrow overhead presses. So elbows bend, we start with the hands by the shoulders. We push the arms up towards the ceiling and back down. Again, trying to keep the rest of the body still. It's just the shoulders and the arms moving. All right. Okay, let's put those weights down. We're moving on to a new balance exercise of standing on one foot. If that's not going to work for you, you have those three other options that we already did, the feet together, the half tandem, or the full tandem. So those three are still on the table. Or if you'd like, holding onto your support, we'll stand on the right foot and lift the left foot off the ground. I don't mind where your left foot goes. So it can go behind you, it can come in front of you. So we're playing with the balance now, standing on one foot. If you'd like. You're holding on with two hands, one finger, no hands. It's up to you. Find that just right challenge. Again, hard enough that it feels difficult, but not so hard that you're going to hurt yourself if you lose your balance. Hands back to your support, left foot comes down. We switch sides. Again, same options. Feet together, half tandem, full tandem, or stand on that left foot, lift the right. You're holding on with two hands, or one hand, or one finger, or no hands. Again, finding just enough challenge. It's fine to wobble. It's fine to fall out of the pose as long as you don't fall to the point of hurting yourself. And foot comes down. All right, going into some side lunges. You can grab your weights for this or not. So we're staying with this wide theme with the legs today. So you'll take those legs wide. I like the toes just slightly out, but not as big of a turnout as when we did those sumo squats. But the stance is pretty wide, like the sumo squats, or maybe even a little wider. We bend one knee as the hips go back. So one knee bends, one leg is straight. I'm leaning forward so it still has the squat-like feeling. So the torso is not fully upright, it's slightly forward and coming up. And then other side, other knee bends, hips go back and back up. I'll show you a side view as well. You don't need to move. It's just to show you what my body is doing. a diagonal view. So hips go back, torso comes slightly forward. We bend one knee at a time. So noticing any tendency to want to bend both knees. All right, and coming back up, arms come down, feet back towards each other, shake it off. So this next exercise you can do with or without weights. It can be quite fatiguing. So if you find that you're getting really tired, just put the weights to the side. It's plenty hard without the weights. If you don't have weights though, I recommend that you imagine that you're lifting something heavy. So we're going to lift those arms out to the side into a T position. And then with control, slowly lower the arms down. You're gonna go slightly forward for this T position. So it's not directly out to the side. It's just barely forward. So you can see how here for me, I'm just barely forward. So I'm not totally out to the side, but I'm not forward. I'm sort of just an inch ahead of out to the side and back down. That's comfortable. If not, then go directly out to the side, no problem. If you're feeling this in your elbows, soften your elbows. Have a little bend in them. Not a big bend, just a tiny bend. Again, imagining that you're carrying something heavy if you don't have weights. Let's do 2 more. All right. Okay, back to those side lunges. You can have those weights or not. Legs go wide. So wider than the shoulders, toes can point just slightly out. We bend one knee, hips go back, and then the other. Let's do about 1 more each side. And come back to center. Arms down, legs back together, shake it off. Few deep breaths. Let's do those arms out to the side. So again, imagining that you're lifting a weight if you don't have one, and that you're slowly lowering them back down. So out and back down with control. You're not going any higher than shoulder height. You're trying to do this with as much control as possible. If it's feeling like too much, you're putting the weights down. Let's do 1 more. And letting that go. Maybe a few shoulder rolls. Okay, last set of these side lunges. Weights up by the chest if you have them. Legs go nice and wide. You bend one knee, other leg straight, hips go back, and then the other. Keep going. Get at your own pace. Let's do maybe one more each side, so you're nice and even. And then come back to center. All right, last set of these shoulder raises. If it's too much, get rid of those weights, right? This is plenty hard with the weights and without them. Arms go out and then they come back in. If you're feeling any discomfort in the shoulder, that's a sign to do less. Maybe you only go halfway. Or maybe you let go of those weights. Control the whole way, up and down. Let's do maybe one more. And then put those weights off to the side, shake it off. Let's do a quick stretch here for our shoulders. We'll bring that left arm forward and across, so in front of the body. Right elbow or right arm comes straight ahead. We bend the elbow so that the arm is hooked within the elbow. Shoulder drops away from the ear. Release and we switch. Other arm comes forward and across. Hook the elbow. Shoulder away from the ear. And release, shake it off. We're going back to our balance one more time. So facing your support, you can hold on to with your hands. You pick which leg. So either feet together, one foot halfway forward, directly forward for a balance, or balance beam standing or tightrope standing, or standing on one foot. So it's all of those same options that we had before, holding on as much or as little as you'd like. So whichever side you'd like as well, maybe noting what side you chose to start on. And then releasing and switching sides. So again, feet together, half tandem, full tandem, or standing on one foot. Switching sides, holding on as much or as little as you'd like. And then foot comes down, or reset so that you're centered. Two hands on your support, wall, table, chair, back to that upside down L position. You'll walk those feet back. Bring the torso parallel to the earth. Again, your knees can be bent or your torso can be lifted. You don't actually have to be in a full upside down L. Walk yourself back up. Stepping away from your chair, your support. Inhale, circle the arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling. Exhale, arms come back down. Two more. Inhale, arms circle out and up. Exhale, arms come back down. Last time, inhale, arms out and up. And exhale, arms back down. Awesome job, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Always a pleasure. We have a couple of minutes in case you have any questions. So if you have any questions about class, so yoga or this class, functional fitness, if you have GoGo specific questions, the best thing to do is reach out directly to GoGo via email, or you could call as well. Oops.
Hey, Joe, I'm always practicing my skiing. The ski lifts in Colorado, New Mexico open tomorrow morning. So they had between 20 and 44 inches of snow so far, all in the last couple of days. So your dynamic ski position is always there in your training that you're giving us, and then your heel lifts. I wanted to let you know that I don't know if you've ever done any ski jumping or watched the ski jumping, but their heels release, their toes are only thing in their skis as they jump off the lip and then float, the 200 meters or whatever. So that heel lift, I just pretend I'm just launching myself off the run and then just floating back down. So, but we men are I think are built a little different than you women. So every time you tell us how to do something, I have to do some slight minor adjustments for some of it. So and then I've got a 13 AAA foot, so I wear skis on my feet anyway, so I'm not sure on the balance stuff, but it really helps improve. So I'm it's all positive, you know me. Go, go, go.
Thanks for sharing, Ross. I like that you add some visualization of like what you're doing or imagining that you're, skiing or doing a hop. I think that's really cool. Thanks for sharing.
Well, the cans could be ski poles. I mean, the cans I had today, like you said, go grab something. Well, I just had been at the store and got New England clam chowder because it's raining here. We've had probably 8 inches of rain in the last week. So, but
Wow.
it's turning cool, and so all of a sudden, let's have some chowder.
Great. Well,
Bunch
I'm
of
glad
them.
you.
Not like that San Francisco foggy weather.
Yeah, it's actually sunny today. It's actually a really
I
nice day
know, I
today.
saw that, so I thought maybe you moved your house somewhere.
Nope, same place. Karen, I see your mouth moving, but you're on mute. So I don't know if you're trying to say something to the group or
Okay, can you hear me now? All
yes.
right. Well, thank you for the cool scene because I just grabbed my towel. I've been sweating so hard. It was a wonderful exercise.
Awesome. Great to have you. All right. Well, if we don't have any questions, um, I will let you go.
Thank
Yeah?
you.
Okay, thanks everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Wednesday is functional fitness. Next Friday is yoga. So I'll see you at one or both of those, hopefully. Um, well, until next time, thanks everybody.